Hello, friends. Welcome back to Nothing Half Asked News Station with me, Fancy Grace, where we sift through the circus of the week and bring you the most dazzling acts of journalistic gymnastics. And, folks, this week we have a gold medalist in mental acrobatics. Ashleigh Plan failed, who managed to turn a true crime theory into a stand up routine. Picture this: Ashleigh, with the enthusiasm of a kid unwrapping a mystery box. She was all proud of herself, unveiled her groundbreaking theory in the BryanKohberger case. According to her, our alleged suspect decided to undress outside. Yes, in the November chill, in the dark, before fleeing the scene. And in this frosty striptease, he supposedly dropped the infamous K-bar knife sheath. This is all Ashleigh's theory. Now, here's the kicker. The knife sheath was allegedly found under the comforter beneath the body of Maddie Mogan, rest her soul, on the third floor of the King Road house. So, in her excitement, Ashleigh inadvertently argued the defense's case, allegedly suggesting that the sheath was planted. Since we all know the sheath did not grow legs and walk itself in through the front door and up 2 flights of stairs, although that would explain the blood that was left on the handrail. But the detectives, they didn't think that was significant enough to test for any matches in CODIS and at the time because psst, a little tip told them, we think it's this nerd. So they just tossed that blood sample aside and who knows where. And they just kept on going after Bryan anyway. Well, bravo, Ashleigh. Truly a plot twist worthy of a soap opera. On with the show. Roll that clip. This investigation, and they walked in. They did not have anyone resisting them. She says they pretended to kill 2 people. I heard that they counted. They did a little count and then they moved on. So they don't actually know how long anyone was in any room. But continue.
Back to the vehicle, and the key words that are used in the test run is taking off the bloody clothes and then driving away. First of all, I can't believe they did these tests, and they determined it is possible.
It is possible. Let me just say, this is ridiculous, and you can't even reenact it to see how long they even stood. And if they did anything that was actually kind of pertinent to a struggle, because they tore the damn house down. So just watch how excited she gets. She is something else. Ashleigh plan failed.
It is possible to do all that in a very short amount of time. But taking those bloody clothes off, it made me wonder.
Hold on a second, sir. Who do you think you are messing with that mustache? I have the mustache, not you.
If Koberger's the killer and he was taking off those bloody clothes and didn't see in the darkness that the knife sheath, might have gone off with the clothing, perhaps that's why he came back and spent 9 minutes at that house looking at the place where perhaps he had taken those clothes off the night before.
Look how damn proud she is of this theory. But she does not even realize what the hell she just said. So first of all, we were told that he did not return the following day. That was what they had said, that was a false ping. But, Ashleigh and facts don't go hand in hand. She is so titillated and smiling and so excited about this because she's explaining that he gets undressed on the side of the house in her theory, outside, in the cold, naked, and drops the sheath outside. How the hell did the sheath get upstairs and in the bed then, Ashleigh? That's the whole point Ann Taylor said. Somebody must have put it there. Thanks, Ashleigh.
It's possible, or maybe
He knows she's full of
left
crap.
some of the bloody clothes out. Or he was worried that he left something behind. If they think that maybe he was trying to change right out there, outside the house, next to the car, or on the side of the house. Maybe he's looking for something outside the house. Maybe he was considering going back in to look for the sheath. But it's
Maybe
so
none of
interesting
what you
because
guys
when I was
say.
outside the house for all that time after the murders, there were weird things happening with the prosecutors and
I
the
bet
police
there
and the
was.
investigators and all the testing that they were doing. And there were just weird movements that they would do, walking to the door, going to the road. And I remember wondering what they were doing. And
Okay, now I just skip forward a little bit. Now she's all excited because she found a little tiny mention. It was one mention. It was not repeated anywhere. She's going to tell you about it, but then just watch Brian's face. It is just too funny.
Itself anywhere in the other documents I saw, and that is that Dylan said she was 3 feet away from the killer. And I just stretched my arm out because I still cannot believe that this is how far roughly 3 feet is. And not only that, she saw him holding something.
What?
yeah, there were some interesting new nuggets involving Dylan because they actually included the verbatim statements that she made to police officers when she was talking to them about what she saw.
Yeah, 3
and she
feet,
said
that's
that
another
she
story.
saw the person in the house holding something. She did not give more specifics than that, but she said holding something. And something else that struck me, Ashleigh, I don't know if you to Pennsylvania, she must have been watching the news.
Yeah. That's how she pulled up his mugshot, saw his picture, and then told the police multiple times, I believe 3 or more, that she did not recognize him. She did not know that man in the photo. And maybe she saw one eyebrow now. Now it was just one eyebrow, not the skin, not the eyes, just one eyebrow. This from a girl who drew big bushy eyebrows all over her bedroom, drank a gallon of liquor, mixed with some water and electrolytes, drank 9 to 10 or 10 to 11 Truly seltzers that are 5.5% alcohol or something, and drank champagne and then played a drinking game also. Those are her recollections of how much alcohol she had. So let's just say that she had no idea what the hell she was saying. I mean, get real. Get real.
And they asked her during this interview, well, does that look like the person that you saw? And she said, I have no clue.
Thank you. Yeah. Great. We're going to move on now.
Hello, Fancy. How are you? I'm so happy to see you. You're my favorite. Yeah, did you see? Oh, Miss Ashley Brownfield. She looking so mad. Her neck was all bulging and her blinking was like, fast. She don't even know what the crime scene was supposed to be. Did she not read the PCA? I mean, anybody knows how to read this in the news, right? This is crazy.
Oh, hey, cutie kitty. How are you, sweetheart? You must be talking about when Ashleigh was talking to her mentor. Yeah, we're going to get to that. That was hilarious. Her neck is all just tight and her eyes are just blinking so fast because she's so mad. Yeah, we'll get to that one. How you been, sweetheart? Just so cute. You cutie kitty.
Hello, Fancy. Did you see what Ashleigh Banfield said? She does not know where the sheet was found. She thinks he's dropped it outside on the side of the house. She basically just like giving away lots of. Tell her to shush.
Hey, Fancy, I just want to say you're my favorite crime reporter. I just love you. And say hi to Kitty Kitty for me. Bye. Well, thank you, Angelica Potato. You are so sweet. Make sure you tell Granny Potato I said hello. I just adore her. You have the nicest family. I'll let Cutie Kitty know that you asked about him. Okay, but you may have to get in line. Cutie Kitty is a hot commodity. Take care, dear. Dear Lord, where was I now? I'm lost my place.
Hello, Fancy. I heard you say my name. How are you, dear? So good to see you. And Cutie Kitty, too. He's such a good little officer. Now, you go ahead and show your video about Ashleigh Banfield, because judge not yet ye be judged, Ashleigh. You are making mistakes everywhere. Don't you read the documents? They really ought to give Fancy Grace your job.
Oh, Jesus, thank you. I am trying really hard. I'm trying to do better than Nancy. She's been awfully nasty lately, but I mean, I'm getting there a little bit at a time. But thank you for your support, Jesus. I love you.
Oh, it's nice to see Jesus again. That's great. Hey, he said I was a good cop. I'm so happy. He said I try to be good. Well, say hello to, Angelica Potato. Nice to see you. Hubba hubba. Anyway, I don't know, if you saw what else Ashley said, she get all kind of crazy. She's like, I want to see the autopsy pictures. Show the pictures. I mean, don't you think they could describe some of these things and maybe not have to share all of the details? Because what she not getting is that she is the one, too, that is adding to the problems. Why? You need to just let people go to court. But they want to say, look at this freak, look at this maniac, look at this monster. And then that makes people prejudiced. And it's not right. Because, Brian has a mama and a daddy and 2 sisters. And they love him. So maybe just give somebody a chance to go to court, Ashley. You don't have to be such a gross freak about pictures. Yuck!
Kitty Kitty, I did see what you were talking about. She was all into those autopsy photos. Ashley, I'm just almost about out of words for you. You're out there, honey. You're out there. Now, it's my understanding that journalists should try to be impartial and give both sides to a story. Well, we know Ashleigh sucks at that, so let's hear what she has to say, running her mouth again about Koberger. Like, it is disgusting. Like, she was sitting there acting all high and mighty today, talking to Amanda Knox, saying how horrible YouTubers were talking about her when she was facing charges. And while Ashleigh is sucking up to her mentor, who I do like, I'm going to sit over here and do an artist recreation of Dylan's very descriptive drawing of the balaclava wearing assailant on the loose. Just so you know, though, Ashleigh, I have an orange, a camo, and a black balaclava because I like to be warm when I go hunting. Hello. If you ever left your damn house, besides to look in the mirror, you might know some things about the world. Go ahead. I got on there and typed in the comments, yes, Ashleigh, just like you do to Brian.
The other night than the murder night. So great job. You got to get some sleep. That was a long, long night and really good work. So thank you, Bryan. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ash.
Okay, I want to bring in my friend Mark Aragos now. He's a criminal defense attorney, and
great.
now he's the co-host of two, count them, two very
She
popular
really likes
podcasts,
this guy.
Reasonable Doubt and Two Angry Men. Mark Aragos, since
do
you
too.
are the biggest expert I know in famous trials, I wanted to call you about all of these new details that have come out in these court documents after a desert, for 2.5 years, a gag order that's kept us all in the dark. I look at this as the layman and say he's finished. He's absolutely finished.
You would,
he bought
idiot.
a K-bar knife, a sheath, and a sharpener 8 months before the murder, and then he bought a replacement K-bar knife, or was looking for a replacement K-bar knife and sheath right after the murders, and then you just add all this other stuff on. But what do you think about this massive document dump?
I have a
If
K-bar.
I'm not mistaken, you and I talked about a while ago, as you said, it's been quite a time period of wandering around in the wilderness. But I think we talked about the fact that if they had a receipt for this knife or this sheath, obviously they didn't find the knife, sometime prior, that would be, as you call it, a bad fact. The one after, the searching after, the way it was phrased and the way it was buried leads me to believe it's not as significant as the purchase before. And why do I say that? I've
he knows
had cases
they exaggerate and
where
lie.
prosecutors will argue that somebody went looking for a particular item on the internet. And then when you drill down into it, it turns out that it was just one in a stream of thousands of things that the browser does. So the one after doesn't really do much. If they can tie
Blink rate
the sheath or
increasing.
the same kind prior to this,
Nick
that's
tightening.
definitely going to be front and center of their opening statement and
She's
the
so mad.
trial. For the prosecution and the defense
I would
is
also-
going to have some explanation.
Right. I would also say I did not see a K-bar knife or a knife sheath or a knife sharpener on the manifest when they pulled everything out of his apartment a couple months later. So that's
maybe
a bad
he didn't
fact,
take
too.
it.
Where is that?
Maybe it was a
knife
freaking gift.
and sheath
You
that's
jackass.
identical to the murder weapon and the murder sheath. If it's not in your apartment and you just bought it, less than a year ago. So, okay, the other thing I wanted to
Sounds
ask
like
you
a
about
gift
is
set to
these
me.
conditions, these developmental conditions, developmental coordination disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and autism. These are the things she's saying make it impossible for him to have been able to run through that house as fast as he would have needed to commit all of those murders, and that this is the one I can't believe. The OCD made him drive around at night, wear gloves. When they arrested him, he was wearing gloves and sorting his trash into little plastic baggies.
So you're making fun of people.
And change out his shower curtain all the time due to mold.
Yeah, mold's gross.
And then the other one was the that was autism, to say he has a piercing stare and he's strange. So don't judge a book by the cover. It just sounds to me like it's a desperate attempt to find something, anything, to chip away at the bad facts, but it doesn't look like much of a chipper.
Look, there's each one of those taken separately, I think could give you a plausible, it's a circumstantial evidence case. The law on circumstantial evidence in most jurisdictions is if there are two reasonable interpretations, they don't have to be equally reasonable, but two reasonable explanations. One points towards guilt, one towards innocence. You must adopt the one that points towards innocence. The problem is you've outlined it. If in fact they're going to make those arguments, and I don't know that they necessarily are for each one of those facts. For instance, I'll take one of them out of your litany. The one about gloves and the trash later on, I'm not so sure that that's admissible as a probative fact, and it may be more prejudicial than probative. Why do I say that? That was a long period of time afterwards. If there was nothing in that trash that they found that was incriminating, why would you bring that in other than to just unfairly malign? So I don't know that would necessarily be the one. I'll give you the prosecution argument is going to be, of course, he's going to try and use that for the shower curtain because he was trying to dispose of the shower curtain because the shower curtain was consistent with somebody who wanted to wash off any kind of the remnants of transferred DNA. So that's a tough fact, ultimately, that they're going to have to deal with. But I'll go back to the sheet. There still is, Ashleigh, there have been internet sleuths who have talked repeatedly about whether or not somebody took that sheath from him, and that's the reason you had the fingerprint. So if that does not undercut the theory if they're going to say, yeah, it was mine, but somebody took it, and here's who that person is.
Then where's the knife that was bought with the sheath? Like, that's great if you still have the knife, but my sheath was taken and planted with my DNA on that snap. It's just a little far-fetched to say, and I just lost that knife, coincidentally,
The only thing that has anything on it?
No, I think if the defense is going to be that somebody took
the
knife and sheath, and that is, yes, it's got his DNA,
handle.
but the reason it's got his DNA because it was his. Somebody else took it. We don't know what happened with the knife because they took it. Yes, it was his, but he was not the person who was there. I believe that's got to be, if they've linked this up. Assuming everything, that has to be the defense.
Crazy, because the handle of the knife would definitely have more of his DNA on it if someone wanted to plant his evidence at the scene.
Didn't wipe it clean.
Nothing on it, but okay. One last quick question, and I have to make it quick. The defense doesn't want the words psychopath or sociopath used at trial. Okay. The state says they weren't planning to. And then the defense wants no inflammatory evidence, like graphic autopsy photos. Well, Mark Garrigo, since when does a defendant get to say you're not allowed to show the autopsy photos of a quadruple stabbing? Like, I just can't even imagine you'd ask that question.
Maybe, Ashleigh, it's because the family might be there. Did you ever think of that? Or are you only thinking of your ratings? Once again, Ashleigh, disgusting.
Well, let me play devil's advocate here. A lot of times, the victim's family does not want those photos entered into evidence or does not want them displayed in court, or will make the motion or join in the defense motion to just enter into evidence a small number of them for obvious reasons. Nobody wants to be sitting in a courtroom and watch their loved ones' remains be projected and then captured on the internet or paraded around in publications. So I understand that. And by the way, that once again goes to that analysis. Is it more prejudicial than probative?
Well, I think the jury needs to see the horror that this was in order to land upon something like a death penalty. I think they need to know exactly what happened to those 4 kids. That's me.
Think
hey, Mark Garrigo, it's great to have you. Thank you
once
for doing
they see
this.
everything
really
else. Ashleigh.
You got it.
I don't think he's her favorite anymore. Look at look at her face. Ashleigh, you really should try to get a little bit of integrity. In my opinion.
Pal. But I need to send a message to the true crime community. I'm aware of the agitator that gets his rocks off by triggering, as he says, people in chat. He only exists to hide behind names, go in, fake accounts, and trigger people. What does that say about you as a man? I think that you should rethink your activities. Maybe spend some time with your spouse, because it's really getting old. And I don't want to have to notify the Justice League about some punk running around agitating people as a hobby. Do better. Thank you, Fancy. You're my favorite crime reporter. And I'll be watching. I'm here for all of you. This is America. And for the Justice League, remember, innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. If you don't like it, move.
Okay. I was working on this drawing, much like Dylan drew, right? With the line for the balaclava and the oval here. Now watch. Watch. I know this person. Do you recognize him yet? It's Kenny! Did she kill Kenny? It's Kenny! From South Park! Call 911. Psst. Hi, girl Fancy. Oh my goodness. Can you give Batman my number? Yeah. Alright, girl. Love you, Fancy.
Hello, Fancy Grace. We just wanted to ask if you would tell BryanKohberger hello, as we miss him looking up at us, like many people do, especially people that like astronomy.
Wouldn't you Earthlings feel silly if you knew Mr. Koberger was monitoring our activities, trying to help you?
Hey, girl, hi. How you doing? Nothing half-asked. Sure, yeah. Go ahead, make your announcement, hon. Go ahead.
Thank you, Fancy. I am Lieutenant Nothing, half-asked, from the YouTube Neighborhood Watch. Just wanted to say, looking forward to hanging out with all you subscribers soon, because everyone that subscribes to this channel is a member of the Neighborhood Watch, where we run the YouTube streets looking for trouble and fun. Lots of parties and fun. Yeah. Thanks, Fancy. Love you.
Well, I wanted to thank each and every one of you for tuning in tonight and for tuning in as I approach on this 1 year anniversary. All of you 341 people that have subscribed, I really want to say thank you, because I have more subscribers than my bratty kids that do not appreciate me as much as they should. Thank you for making that happen. If you would like to continue to help me whoop my kids, please hit subscribe. It's kind of fun to show them that we don't just get old, that we're still awesome. So hit subscribe, hit like, please. please, very much please, I will be starting to do some lives soon because I want to make people smile. If my videos have brought you any joy, I'm very happy about that because I know that life can be hard and things, we all have issues. Believe me, sometimes we just want to get away and sometimes you just need a little smile. So if I have been able to do that for you, I thank you. And all of our condolences go out to the families of the victims. If any of you are struggling and need help to get to the trial, please let this community know. That includes the Kobergers. We would like to make sure that you are there to support your loved ones, family, together, whatever it is. And let's try to all get along because in the end, we want justice. Someone has done something, or some people have done something that's just not acceptable. So let's put our petty arguments aside and let's make this a real community feeling. So 65% of you watch these videos and you don't subscribe. So please hit subscribe if you really would. It would be awesome. You don't even have to hear the beeps. You can say none to the notifications. It's okay. I want to remind all of you to stay informed, stay aware, and remember that justice is no joke. These are our rights as American citizens. They are important to me. That is mostly where I become involved, is the rights of ourselves and our children, our future of our country. It's very important that we maintain those rights that our forefathers fought and died for. Have respect. Thank you. I love my veterans. Anyway, I'm going to do some live soon, so see you guys. Take care. Be safe. And I'll have another video out probably later this week. Okay. Ta-ta for now. Mwah. Happy anniversary. I forgot to say one thing. Ashleigh, I know what you're doing. It's actually pretty pathetic that you degrade a human being horrifically on nationwide television just for ratings. It's really gross. Then you have the next one on and you just suckle on her. I mean, it's a joke. You need to do better because, honey, age ain't going to be your friend either. So you're going to have some kind of personality that people maybe will like. Okay, toodles.
Pardon me, Fancy? Hey, Chris McDonald. Yeah. Did you, when you're done with Ashleigh, can you do one on Nancy? Because, did you see Nancy get in a fight with that, defense attorney? And I was like the hero. I was right there. I was right there to take over, give her info. Yeah. Okay, well, call me. Call me, please, Fancy, please.
Nothing that fast. Nothing that fast. Nothing that fast. Nothing that fast. You left a comment. That's what we'll do. We won't do it that fast. For me or you.
What's up, Nothing That Fast? Thanks for the comment. Thanks for stopping by. I was going to try and make your name into a song because it's pretty cool.
Nothing that fast. Nothing that fast. You don't even have to ask. Nothing that fast. Nothing that fast. If you don't believe it, you can kiss my ass. Nothing that fast.
I don't know, something like that. You like your theme song, you know what I'm saying?
Portrayal. Oblige you with the cowbell. Here it comes.